What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm here to break down the Xfinity Series race at Pocono Motor Speedway, or Pocono Raceway, whatever it's called. This race is on Sunday, not Saturday, for the Xfinity Series. Sunday at about 12 o'clock, I believe. I will be going live for this race Sunday at about 11 to discuss this slate even further. If you guys can ask questions, all that stuff. Before I get into this video, if you're new here, make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe to this channel. It really helps me grow. Just trying to continue to get this growth out throughout this NASCAR season. If you want to get more of my content, you can always subscribe to my Patreon. I'll put the link down below. It's $10 a month. For all three series combined, we're going to get two spreadsheets of all the stats you need to know, along with projections. You're going to get rankings. You're going to get cash cores. You're going to get past optimal lines, what I expect the optimal line to look like this week, and just some other stuff. So be sure to go hit that link below. That's for all three series combined as well. So yeah, let's get into this slate. We're going to start out with Austin Cindric. He's the highest priced driver. He starts 13th today, or Sunday. He is the favorite to win this race at the moment. He is $11,000 on Draftkings. We've seen him run pretty well at Pocono. 5.5 average finish at Pocono, 9.2 at flat tracks, and 17 at super speedways, which is not that great. But Cindric's been fast all year. He's definitely one of the favorites to lead laps, in my opinion. I can totally see him getting up front and just dominating this race. There's no Kyle Busch. There's no Cup Series drivers in this field, so I definitely really like him for sure. Ty Gibbs is next, starting 14th, one spot behind Cindric for $200 less. Ty Gibbs has just been great this year. We all know what he is, and he's just pretty much a superstar in making, in my opinion, in the series, or in NASCAR in general, not just the series. I think, yeah, this series, but then also the Cup eventually. But anyway, Ty Gibbs starting 14th. He offers you some place differential as well as potential to dominate this race. He's one of the guys I really like as a possible dominator on this slate this week. So Ty Gibbs definitely going to like him. Noah Gragson and Justin Allgaier starting 7th and 2nd at 10,600 and 10,400. Gragson's been rough recently, man. I mean, it's just been a rough year for him. We haven't really seen him lead a bunch of laps recently either, so that kind of worries me. I don't know if I really want to pay 10-6 for that. Maybe this is the week he finally breaks out and dominates and wins, but we haven't seen it from him this year, so that's just really going to worry me about that. Justin Allgaier, though, has been really fast all year long, especially at these bigger tracks. Starting second, I think he's definitely someone who we could especially see get out to an early lead really early in this race, and then maybe he holds on to it for the rest of the race. But I do like Allgaier as a potential dominator as well. In fact, he'd probably be my second favorite dominator on this slate behind Austin Cindric. So I really like Allgaier. Going to have a good bit of him. Josh Berry, they priced up at 10,200. He starts 33rd. He is not in the 8 car anymore for the rest of the year. Sam Mayer, who we'll talk about next, is in that car for the rest of the year. So now for this week, he's driving to Jordan Anderson Racing for 31, who we've seen himself do pretty well in, as have we seen Tyler Reddick. But that is Tyler Reddick do well. Although I will say last week in Nashville, that car did not look well. I mean, Tyler Reddick did not have a good run. So that kind of worries me. I don't really know if I want to pay 10,200 for all the place differential right there. There's other place differential spots that I like on the slate more than this. I just think it's a little bit too expensive for a car that we don't really know how good it is yet. So I'm just probably not going to go there. Now, Sam Mayer, the guy who's in the 8 car for the rest of the year, I think aside from the road courses, which I think Paluto's still driving. I could be wrong about that, but I believe that's what's going on. Look, Sam Mayer, it's like Ty Gibbs. They're both 18-year-old kids. They're both on the come up. They're the next two stars of NASCAR. Ty Gibbs won, or no, I'm sorry, Sam Mayer won in the Truck Series, and I believe his second, maybe third start last year at Bristol. This kid's a star as well. He just turned 18. So that's why he's in this car now for the rest of the year. He's not as big of a name as Ty Gibbs because Gibbs is the last name, but Sam Mayer, man, he is very good. I expect him to win a race this year. Honestly, I really do. If he doesn't win one, I'd be surprised. The 8 car's already been to victory lane this year. I honestly thought Mayer would win and Berry won it this year, but obviously Berry got the dub, so maybe Sam Mayer can clutch it out as well. Wouldn't be surprised if he wins, honestly, in this race at Pocono. It's not like this field's great. He's in really good equipment. Starts 20th. Offers you a ton of place differential. I think he probably should compete for a top 5. And I mean, he has dominator upside. I will say that, NASCAR was smart this time when they priced up Sam Mayer. When Ty Gibbs made his debut, he was the cheapest guy in the slate. Now they priced up Sam Mayer, which is smart on them, but I still like him. I just want to get on Mayer before everyone else does because I really believe he's probably going to be a top 4 or 5 driver in this series from starting on Sunday. So I want to get on before everyone else does. So Sam Mayer starting 20th, I'm going to be interested in. Daniel Hemrick, he's just cannot get a win, man. But I mean, I think this is definitely a race we can see him dominate. He's definitely going to be someone in my dominator pool this week. My pool for dominators is Cindric Gibbs, Allgaier, and Hemrick, I think. I mean, I'm going to play Mayer. I guess Mayer then too. So, but Hemrick definitely has dominator upside starting sixth. And only 9,700 too. If he gets out to the front and leads a bunch, that's going to be really, really, really be worth it. So, Daniel Hemrick is definitely someone I'm going to like this week. AJ Allmendinger, we just haven't seen the speed at these bigger tracks recently, so I don't think I'm going to go there. Harrison Burns starting on a pole. We just haven't seen him be a dominator all year long, so I'm just really just not going to be all that interested in. Same thing with Brandon Jones. I think both those two probably just run well, and probably don't lead a ton of laps. Riley Herbst starts way too high this week for me, especially $8,900. I mean, we all know how I feel about Riley Herbst. He's awful, but $8,900 is way too much. I do play Herbst sometimes. I played him last week, and he did good for me last week. So, but this week starting 10th at $8,900, I just don't want to get there. I don't think he pays that off. But Justin Haley, I do like. I don't understand why they made Herbst more expensive than Haley. I know Haley finished bad last week, but he was running in the top 10 the whole race. Just a late pit strategy put him all the way back there, and he just couldn't recover at the end. So, starting 11th, he has top 5 upside for sure. So Justin Haley is definitely someone that I don't mind getting to, someone I want to get some exposure to. And I will have exposure to him on this slate. Santino Ferrucci, I just think is too expensive. I mean, we just haven't seen anything out of him. Like, all the same Hunt drivers have, done pretty decently in this 26 car this year, but Santino Ferrucci is not one that's done pretty well. Although I will say I believe he has Pocono experience for IndyCar, but I don't think that translates that all that much. So starting 26, probably just not going to, be that big of a play for me. I'd much rather just pay $200 less for Brandon Brown starting 24th. Brandon Brown's been, pretty consistent. He's a consistent top 15 driver for the most part, $8,300. I think this is a spot where we could see Brandon Brown get a top 15, compete for a top 10. So I like that place differential play a lot more than Santino Ferrucci. So I'd honestly, if you're playing if you're playing a ton of lines, I would pretty much just rather go all Brandon Brown. I just think he finishes higher, and that does a better job paying off than Santino Ferrucci. Michael Annett and Jeb Burton start too high for me. I just don't see it. Don't really want to go there. Austin Hill I like, starting 15th. He did better last week than I thought he would do. I thought he'd run about, 15th to 20th all race, but he actually ran like 8th to 15th all race. So if he can get up in that top 10 again, which is what he finished last week, I think he's going to be a really, really good play. So I really like Austin Hill starting 15th. I think this is a good one. Mike Snyder, another one. I don't really understand the salary. I know he's kind of been underwhelming all year, aside from that win that he shouldn't have had at Miami. But starting 19th, he had a bad run last week, but that was because he had a tire issue, something like that, some brake issue, something happened with his car that made it not able to race. So Mike Snyder starting 19th is too cheap. He's a top 10 car. He should probably finish top 10 in this race, I think. I feel like that it's more likely that Snyder finishes in the top 10 than Hill. So I would rather play Mike Snyder. I just don't understand the salary there. So I'm definitely going to be getting a good bit of exposure to him. Alex Lepay is starting way too high for me at 7,100 to really consider him. Same thing with Jeremy Clements here. I expect him to run like 9th to 17th all race. That's probably where he'll finish. So don't really want to play him starting 9th. Same thing with Ryan Sieg. I don't want to play him starting 12th. Brett Moffitt starting 17th, had a rough race last week, but we know that car has top 10 potential, and if he's able to get a top 10 out of that car, I think that's definitely something that we could really, really like here. I think he has more upside than Tommy Joe Martins, who probably can only move up a few spots, but so if you're debating those two, I'd much rather get to Moffitt. That's just how I feel. Joe Graf Jr., I'm not paying $6,300 for him. That's just not happening. I'm not paying $6,100 for Landon Castle. Jade Buford, though, I don't hate. Buford's not been bad this year. I did not expect him to really be good. I expect him to be one of the back markers all year, but he's been pretty solid. Starting 29th, they made him cheaper than Castle and Graf. I know Graf starts higher or starts farther back, but I'd much rather get to Jade Buford. I think he has top 20 upside here. And at $5,900, that price. I like it. I think that's a good price for him. Ryan Vargas finally had a good race last week, and DraftKings decided to make him $5,800. I don't understand that. There's no way I'm playing that. Just no way. Bailey Curry, it's the same Bailey Curry's every week. It's a hit or miss with him. Starting 34th, he has top 20 upside when the car doesn't have mechanical issues. So, it's a hit or miss with him. He's a boom or bust play. If he booms, he's going to be really, really good. But if he has mechanical issues, you're screwed. So do with that as you want. I would only play him in tournaments. Probably won't go there in cash because I do think there's other cash cheaper plays you can get to. So probably just not going to get to that. Jeffrey Earnhardt starting 38th. We're not playing him. I just don't ever. He just doesn't really have any top 20 potential. I just don't see it. Blaine, especially at 5,600. The other JD Motorsports card we'll talk about in a minute is kind of interesting, but not really. Blaine Perkins starting 31st. He's in the Hour Motorsports car. We haven't really seen him run too well this year. He's had some, decent runs. I think he did have a top 20 run. But you're paying an hour motorsports car $5,500, and it's not Natalie Decker in this week. So, I don't mind that at all. I think I'd much rather play that than Earnhardt. I feel better about playing that than Curry in like a cash game. I think I prefer Curry in tournaments, but still playing Perkins does seem like a decent enough play to me to get down there to him. Joey Gase is in the Jimmy Means car. That Greg Gallman's been driving all year. That car is terrible. We're not going there. Josh Williams starting 22nd. He'll probably just run around there all day, not going there. I think Colby Howard's kind of interesting. I mean, it's kind of the same play as Jeffrey Earnhardt. It's just he's $500 cheaper. So if we can get see Colby Howard sneak into that top 25, I think it could be a good play. It's just, I don't know. This race doesn't feel like one that's going to have a ton of accidents and attrition is going to work out for someone like Colby Howard to get up there, but I could see that working out. David Starr starting way too high. This says Cody Ware, but it's actually Carson Ware this week, I guess. I don't really know who that is. I'm assuming that's just, Cody Ware's younger brother, but I don't expect a lot from him, so I probably am not going to go to Carson Ware this week, starting 32nd. I don't know. That's just a gut feeling, in all honesty. I don't really have anything great to say about this. If that was Cody Ware, yeah, I think I'd play that. He's a much more experienced driver. We've seen him run pretty decent before, but Carson Ware, I don't know, man. I will say that car is better than all these other cars in this cheap range. He probably would be the guy I'd go to down here, but yeah. Jesse Little starting 28th, so no go. Mason Massey is kind of interesting, starting 36. We've seen, Parsons has had a rough year, but we've seen him and Massey occasionally have good runs. So if you really want to punt, I think Mason Massey is probably the cheapest I'm going here. I'm not going to play Kyle Weatherman. He just starts too far back. Loris Heisman's is not good, and Matt Mills is terrible. So, I mean, that's pretty much it, man. I mean, your cheap guys this week, I think if you could go with Carson Ware, but I don't feel good about that. Same thing with Mason Massey, you could, I don't feel good about that. But Blaine Perkins is probably the real cheapie getting go. And honestly, you don't need to get down here this week because there is no Kyle Busch. There is no other Martin Truex. Like, there's none of those guys in this field this week. There's no one too expensive. So, yep, Dominators really like Cindric, Gibbs, Allgaier, Hemrick, I guess Sam Mayer, and then, when you're getting more to place differential plays, Brandon Brown, I think Mike Snyder, potentially Austin Hill, Brett Moffitt I like, Jade Buford, I think I really like Buford on the slate, and then maybe Curry and Blaine Perkins. That's probably the main guys I'm getting to my lineup, so that's really all I got. Thank you guys for checking this out. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe on this video, and have a great rest of your day.